It's slightly cold and damp here in Australia at the moment, and I'm staring out my office window where the rain is gently pitter-pattering down and the steam is lazily rising from my fresh cup of coffee. I just love days like this, because there's nothing more satisfying than curling into bed on a cold and rainy day with a book. Or in this case, a video game. Tiny Bookshop by Neoludic Games lets you live out the dream of running a charming little bookshop on wheels in this cozy management game. Each day brings new customers, new stories, and a gentle narrative where you slowly learn more and more about your customers as they go about their lives. What's it like? Put on some warm socks, curl up in bed, and don't forget your bookmark as we review Tiny Bookshop for Nintendo Switch. Tiny Bookshop puts you in charge of managing your mobile bookshop that's set up as a mini caravan. Each day you stack your shelves, checking modifiers to see what may sell well, pick a location, and set up shop. Once open, you greet customers, activate time-limited items, and recommend books for a sales boost. Now on paper, this doesn't sound too involved, but there's an addictive nature in watching your sales rise in order to purchase items and decorations to upgrade your tiny bookshop in order to attract even more customers. There's a strategy involved as well because you have to balance demand, location, and specific events to maximize your profits, as well as visiting locations to complete quests and further along the story. Such events could be the Fisherman's Market or the weekly Super Saver sale at the supermarket. Other events can have a negative impact, like setting up at the university during an exam block is a surefire way to lose money. And just as soon as you get into routine, the season or the weather changes and you have to rejig your setup for the conditions by changing decorations on your tiny bookshop to suit. Time for a Halloween event? Better make it spooky. Rainy day? Put out your umbrella stand. Thankfully, you don't have to be a clairvoyant to know what to expect during your day because the daily paper covers weather and events, gently guiding you down the right path. Your choice of books also plays heavily into the equation, with certain books selling better than others. For instance, I found murder mystery and fantasy novels sold well in the heart of the town, while fact books and non-fiction fared much better at the local university. There is such a satisfying core gameplay loop here, very similar to reading a book that you just simply can't put down. While you're open, customers will ask you for recommendations from time to time, and then you can select from real-life titles from your store to recommend. If you get it right, your customer is happy, and your store gets a limited buff to help increase sales. Both your interior and exterior of your tiny bookshop can be decorated with items that give specific buffs, like a 2% chance to increase kid book sales, or nautical-themed items that will attract more customers in the Bay Area. You'll use a lot of these in the early game until you can get some bigger bookshelves, and I found that I stacked lots of little items to help maximize crime novel sales in order to make some money. There's also time-limited items that you can only buy for specific periods. For instance, there was a section of the game where I started the winter season, and there was a limited bookshelf that could hold 50 books, but it was $450. I had to carefully manage my inventory, quest, and specific dates to maximize sales. I ended up getting a few wrong, but thankfully, just one day before the season ended, I got my bookshelf, and then I was able to sell an incredible amount of books due to the variety I could stock. And after that, it just helped me purchase more stock and smash my previous sale targets. And it's so rewarding when you feel like you finally accomplished a goal you've set for yourself. And much like Civilization's one more turn mentality, I just found myself glued to the Switch to run through just one more day. Tiny Bookshop is presented in a low poly, simplistic art style that works very well. Each locale is varied, and there are objects in the environment that you can interact with, as well as potentially finding objects to decorate your van with. Some things are very clever, like firing a cannon up at the castle for fun, only to find a cannonball lodged into a hut at the wharf the next time you visit it. There's a real cozy vibe to the visuals, even though it's clear there have been compromises to get the game running well on Switch. It doesn't really detract from the game. These compromises may be lower resolution textures with some minor graphical glitches, and you don't really notice them unless you're looking for them. The game gently coaxes you along with some gentle acoustics and lo-fi tunes that complement the cozy vibe of the game, and it just feels like everything gels really well here, and coupled with the gentle character development and writing that ticks along the narrative, it just helps the player grow attached to some of your customers and makes for a wonderful cozy adventure. For $30 Australian, there are plenty of hours of cozy entertainment here to justify the price tag. While some may be put off by the slower pace, those with a bit of patience will find a rewarding and heartfelt game that will last upwards of 25 hours, which can continue after the credits roll. For my bookworms looking into accessibility, there are a few options here that will help make your time running a tiny bookshop a little bit easier. And they range from quality of life options like auto-assisting customers, increasing the duration of customers' patience, and changing the colours of book genres to any hue that works for you, as well as various camera and controller sensitivity options. And it's so wonderful to see indie developers making their games more accessible for gamers. As we come to the final chapter of this review, it's safe to say that Tiny Bookshop is an absolute delight to play. It's fun, it's well thought out, and its addictive gameplay loop constantly engages the player into that one more turn mentality. While some may find that slower pace not to their liking, those who do will have a great time managing and decorating their tiny bookshop, while also planning out layouts to maximize profits and improve your store with each day. It's a heartfelt, cozy adventure that lets you play at your pace, and much like a good novel on a cold and rainy day, I found it very hard to put down. So, what's it like? Tiny Bookshop is like a cozy Kairosoft game. I award it an 80 out of 100. In the interest of full disclosure, a review copy was provided by the publisher, but this doesn't influence my score. Thanks so much for watching my video. If you liked it, the best way you can support What's It Like is by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. For more reviews, click on the thumbnails to the right, and for everything Nintendo, check out what'sitlike.com.au.